Hello, hello. So I guess today we can organize this a little bit. The graph is a little bit messy. I mean, yeah, I think the result is pretty much good enough to do its job. You know, we just wanted to make the character to drop from the box and be able to do its thing. What are you doing today is just let's jump into making the freehang action, maybe. Can you paste the link? Can you paste the link to the freehang animation pack? Yes. Hold on. Freehang animation pack. All right, there you go. All right. So let me just get the large system premium. There we go. This is a little bit confusing, but yeah, let me just try to organize this a little bit. So we have four timelines in here. And this first one is for when the character is attaching from the air. So when he jumps, he attaches himself. So that's the timeline that's being run. And then as you can see right there. So both timelines, they run to, one is for making the character's rotation to face the ledge, and the other one is for positioning the character on the ledge. And those two ones left in here are for when the character is dropping from the box. So when you do this, we have specific timelines for doing that. But in here, I use the sequence player, but first I gotta just set a location, so for example, midair. First attachment, and then here is just rotation instead. And then in here it's drop from box. The other one is location. Hello, Chiller. What's up? Привет. Chiller. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is get the timeline. So get the set location midair, first attachment. So we can decide to start or stop the timeline with that. With this reference. So instead of connecting it to the timelines, we can do a stop. We can run the stop function in here and connect it to here. Same thing for the next, let me see. For this one, you can just copy paste this right here. Да, я знаю русский немного. And then you can do something like this. So basically what this event is going to do is just going to stop all the timelines that is being run. But here's going to stop only the location timelines. This one we can also get the reference of it. So get set location, drop from box, first attachment. But stop the timeline. And then we can just unplug this connection in here, unplug this one. And then instead we can just run it from here. And then what we can also do is just, as this is the same event, as you can see, finish location timeline, and then this one is also the same event. We can just, I think we can just delete. Then we can just delete the sequence in here. And then we can just make this custom event like this. Круто. So we're going to do basically the same thing in here. Just to make the code a little bit more cleaner. We can also do the same thing. Set location. Did the guy who created the animation fix the root issue of the climb up animation? Which climb up animation? Can you give me the name of the animation? Alright, so I'm going to get the set location. So get set location drop. This one. And as you can see, it's connected through here. We play from start. So we're going to do the same, play from start. Just by saving the spaghetti code. I'm going to save the spaghetti code for later. And then we can just plug this in. And then disconnect it from here. I don't have that montage. Oh, is that from the Freehang pack? I don't have this animation. Climb, hang idle to climb. Oh, because you have the UE4. Okay. You have the UE4 name in there. Okay, there you go. So it's climb up. Montage. Ah, this one? I think so. I'm not sure. Let me just check it out. Okay, wait. Yeah, I think so. I have it here. Let me just extract it. UE5. Yeah, I have the animation in here, but I'm not sure if he updated it in the pack. Let me just get the UE5 mannequin import, and there you go. So the issue is that the root bone was moving too much early, right? And then now it's fixed in here, this one. So comparing to the other one, as you can see the root bone, which is this one right here, it moves too much early, and then this one, it doesn't move too much early, as you can see right there. Let me just try to retarget this animation. I think he's going to make the update. I'm not sure if he already made the update already. Hey, nice to actually catch you streaming. Your work is inspiring. Completed your active ragdoll tutorial yesterday. What an amazing thing. Yeah, the active tutorial was a very good system. It was very nice. So montage. I'm trying to replace that one. Let's see. Let's see if that makes any difference. We have to select the slot, large slot. There you go. Well. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's cause. I'm not sure if that's the. I'm not sure why it's causing it to be like that. Maybe it's because of the retargeting. It's bad. But I think this is a lot better than the other one. We just need to change the timeline. No. Yeah, I think you don't need timelines at all on this one. As you can see, I turned off the timelines and it works fine. Just let the root motion do its thing. Because the root bone... As the root bone moves in the animation itself, you can just make the characters to follow the same location where the root bone goes. So we don't need the timelines. We just have a little bit of snapping here. As you can see, the character snaps down to the ground. As you can see, I'm not sure why it's doing that. But I think when you go to the detach phase, you go to the walking mode. Maybe we could set it to falling. Could be better. Yeah, almost there. maybe... Yeah, I think falling is better. But now we just need... Hold on. Sets to the target location. Okay, I have an idea here. Just set it up. Were you trying to stretch the animation, or what does the timeline do? Which timeline? Are you talking about this timeline here, or the timeline in the viewport? Yeah, I'm not sure how to set up this one. I'm going to just, for now, I'm just going to disable it and come back at it in the future. Yeah, my voice is so bad. Okay. I'm going to disable the timelines for now. I'm going to just use the animation by itself. Just let the root bone do its thing of levitating the character up, right? I think it's a lot better without using timelines because you can just let the animation play, and that causes the character to have a little bit more of realism on the character when he does the action, because that's the root bone doing its thing. So yeah, I think the animation is a lot better now after the update. Yeah, I think it's a lot nicer. Holland said, I'm making a chatbot through a llama and Python. It's pretty neat, although I think I want to implement it in a game. I think it would be cool. Yeah, go ahead. That looks like a very interesting idea. So, yeah, I think that's going to be it. I think I don't need this code in here because if you do the detach phase for climbing up, you already do that. You already set the character to falling and do all those things. So what's going to happen here is just that the character is going to play the animation. The root bone is going to do its job by moving the capsule of the character and the position of the character up accordingly how it is in the animation itself. So right now we just need to really do on the event begin play. Uncompleted. And there we go. I think we don't need this coding here for now, but I think we're going to need it later. But we're going to just let it standing by there. That's standby mode. All right, let's go back to the timelines. All right, so it's working really nice. Now I'm going to explain you guys how I've done it, because this is a very big code. So I guess you guys know what's going to be, what's happening here. So basically we have two modes of attaching to the ledge. One is by when the character is falling. So if the character is falling, press F, the character will attach to the ledge. And the other way is when the character is standing on a box or on top of something. Then you press F, and then you press F and the character attaches himself on the ledge. So the way I've done that is by getting the hang trace attached in here. So we have to have the hang trace attachment. I'm going to skip all that. I think you guys have it already. We saved the ledge angle, basically the rotation that the character is going to face at. We detect here if the surface is slippery or not. It would detect if the character is going to do a freehang action, which is not the case. And here we detect if the character is falling or not. Now, I think you need to have this. Yeah, I think you need to have this boolean in here. So we get the character movement. We check if the character is falling, and then we set this boolean to true or false. It's a binary choice, so it's either the character is falling or not. So if the character is falling, this branch is going to be true. So we're going to play a simple ledge catch animation, which is this one right here. We're going to also play a different ledge catch animation if the character is on the slippery surface. So as you can see, that's why we have two animations. And then we have the can't process input. We disable all movement inputs capabilities that the player has. So the player, even if he presses any of the keys of actions, he's not going to be able to do anything while in the process of the attachment. It's very important to block the player movement inputs to not glitch everything. Here we check again if the character was falling. So if the character is not falling, we set so if the character is falling, we set the actual rotation to face the ledge. This helps a little bit to fix bugs. I'm not sure which bug we have in here. Let me just check it out. Maybe that bug is fixed already. Yes, as you can see, it doesn't really calculate well because the character is not facing that rotation. So that's why it's very important to set the character already in the direction that he needs to face on the ledge. Here we just disable the location timeline finished booleans. We just disable them to prevent desynchronization or repeated execution bugs. And then in here, we check again if the character is falling. And so if the character is falling, which means this action here, the player is just going to play that attachment animation. We're going to save the active location and save where the character needs to be at, so you can pretty much control in here. So if the character is falling, we're going to set it to be 1 in here for the right vector. It's not going to change anything, but if you need to change like the offset, you can put 30 in here. So that every time when the character attaches himself on the ledge, and then the character gets a little bit to be set to be on the right. So you can change this value to be like, let's say 100. So when you attach on the ledge, the character is going to be it's going to have the offset to the right or left if you put a negative number in here. And that's pretty much it. Now we have this code in here as well. We can set the forward offset as well in here. So if the character is falling, we can change the forward offset in here. Now here set the location midair timelines, which is this one right here is for the first attachment. So I'm just going to make it darker a little bit. And this one as well for the first attachment, it's going to be darker. So for the first attachment is the one that the character gets himself to be like this, hanging on the trace, on the ledge. So we're going to play those animations, location and rotation timelines, which are these ones right here. And now if the character is not falling, then it's going to execute those timelines. And as you can see, if you press on play and debug that to see if it's really working. So as soon as you attach, as you can see, this timeline is run. As soon as the timeline is finished, then I get the finished execution in here, which then triggers this event in here, which sets the location timeline finished. And then we can end the first time attachment timeline. What that's going to do is just check if we finished the location timeline and if we finished the rotation timeline as well. So if we finished both timelines, then we can proceed with, can attach to ledge and can process input so that we can basically have the control back of the character on the ledge. So as soon as that timeline is finished, those two timelines are finished, only then we can proceed with moving the character on the ledge. So if the character is not falling, for example, if the character is from the top of a box, for example, we play a different animation, montage, which is this one right here. We set the animation notify to be in here, right over here. So we set the starting point to be here at 18 milliseconds. So that it's going to save the actor location, the actor current location. And then we can proceed with these other actions that I've already talked about. Here, don't set the actor rotation because that looks glitchy. Let me try to set that one to be... I think that's going to snap the character on the ledge, I think. Yeah, as you can see, it snaps. So then we follow through here. Firstly we set the character's rotation. We play the timeline to set the character's rotation first, which is this one right here. So for the timeline of the rotation is going to be set to be 50, so 50 milliseconds. For the other one, for the location, is going to be set to be 60 milliseconds. But this one is a little bit... This is going to be 60. There we go. And then we're going to set a delay so that the rotation, so that the character can fully face the ledge first. And then we have the retrievable delay. to wait for the character to face the ledge first. Only then we can proceed with running the location timeline, which will position the character on the timeline which will then position the character on the ledge. Now here we have the attached location, as we already have as well for the first attachment. This one is going to be a little bit different. The values, as you can see, it's different. So it's just a matter of tweaking them to see which one works the best. And then we finally play the location timeline. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, I think we can finish for now. In the next live stream, we can do the freehang action. So thank you guys very much for watching. I'm going to publish this system already for the premium members, so that the premium members can access it and put the animations in there. Of course, you're going to have to buy the animations. So I'm going to just organize it a little bit so that you guys can download it and use the system. All right, so thank you guys very much for watching, and I see you in the next one.